Hey everyone, Jim here from Village Local. Thanks for tuning in again. In this particular video, what I'm going to be talking about is what happens next after you've gone through the assessment process with My Aged Care and you've received your letter from My Aged Care advising that you're going to get some support services. Well, what does that mean and what do you do next about that? So stay tuned and we'll jump into that. If you're getting value out of these videos that we're putting together, then please, I urge you to subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the website, the Village Local website, and also if you've got friends or family members or other neighbours and people in the community that you think would also benefit from this valuable information, then please share this information with them. Our whole mandate at Village Local is to keep the community safe and independent and well, and to prevent older Australians from suffering in silence. So please do your part as well and share this video with your local community. Okay, so just to recap, you've gone through the process of requesting your aged care assessment, okay? You've spoken to My Aged Care, the government department for accessing support services, and you've had your assessment, right? You've gone through with the assessor. That could be a member of the aged care assessment team or a member of the regional assessment team, and you've told them what your challenges are and the sort of support services that would be useful for you, right? So that's all happened now, okay? And now the assessor's gone away and you're waiting on some correspondence to come back from the government department, My Aged Care, right? So let me just pause there for a second because I want to just further go a little bit deeper on the arrangement between these assessment teams and the government department, My Aged Care. It's a common question and point of confusion that raises itself. So the way it's working is My Aged Care, they are the government department, right? I've mentioned this numerous times. They're a federally funded government department, okay? It's their job to govern, to manage the way aged care services are distributed within the community. Who gets them, how they're accessed. It acts as a gateway for accessing these support services, right? So they're out there booking in these care assessments. Now, the assessments, what's happening with that is a lot of the time they are being contracted out to organisations within the community. Some of those organisations are government-funded organisations, not-for-profit organisations, private companies, but essentially the assessment team, be it the aged care assessment team or the RAS assessment team or any other assessment team, they are not the government, okay? They are a separate organisation that is being contracted on behalf of the government to do the assessment, all right? So they're the ones that have come out to your home or might have been an over-the-phone assessment. They've done that, and now the report that they've filled out in that assessment, they've essentially submitted it to My Aged Care, who's going to receive that report, and then it'll be My Aged Care that writes back to you to let you know what you've been approved for. I hope that's clear. I hope it's not too confusing. If it is, by all means, write into us. Our email address is on this page, or call us up if you want to chat more about it. Okay. So, the assessment's done, and it's been a couple of weeks, might even be a few days, but more likely a couple of weeks, and you've received that correspondence back from My Aged Care. And the correspondence is pretty much going to say what you've been approved for. It could state something like you've been approved for the Commonwealth Home Support Program, and if that was the case, it would also categorise what types of services under this Commonwealth Home Support Program you've been approved for. And it could be like transportation, domestic assistance, respite, a whole heap of things that would have been highlighted during your assessment, okay? And typically in this letter, it would list out particular codes, right? And you would use these codes, you would call up local organisations that have the means to deliver Commonwealth Home Support Programs. You would quote the code that you've been given, and then that would enable you to start receiving those services from that organisation, okay? That letter may have also, that's advising you on what you're approved for. It could also say you've been approved for a home care package, right? Remember what I said in previous videos. If you've been watching those, if you haven't, then click the link to watch the previous videos. But the aged care system in Australia, it's broken up into two main worlds: the Commonwealth Home Support Program and the home care packages system. And if you're falling into the home care packages system, which is for those people that need higher levels of support, typically on a weekly basis, okay, the home care package system, it's actually got 4 levels, okay? Level 1, 2, 3, and 4. And these 4 levels are just talking about the amount of government funding that you're going to get under this home care package scheme, which you can then use towards services and products and whatnot. So this letter that you get in the mail, if you've been approved for a home care package system, it will also specify what level of those 4 levels of home care packages you've been approved for as well. Okay, so it could say you've been approved for a level 1, and if that's the case, that will entitle you to about $9,000 per year, every single year, as an allowance paid to you on a monthly basis, and the money's paid into a special trust fund, and you can use that money to pay for any services and products that are in line with your care needs. Level 2, about $15,000 a year. A level 3, about $33,000 a year or $34,000 a year. And a level 4 home care package, about $52,000, $53,000 a year. Okay. Now, this letter that tells you you're approved for a home care package, what that's really saying is, it doesn't mean that funding is available for you straight away and you can receive those services straight away. It's not how it works. It means that you've been approved, but you're on a waiting list for it now, okay? There are 2 key words that are very, very important for you to get your head around, okay? The first word is approved. The second word is assigned, okay? If you're approved for a home care package, that means you've been approved it, you're eligible for it, but you're on a waiting list until it's made available. The word assigned means that it is now ready for you to start using. Okay, that funding is ready to be assigned to a particular provider who can start delivering services to you. Let's talk a little bit about the waiting lists so that you know the time difference between your letter saying you're approved to when it's actually ready to be assigned. And incidentally, you'll get a letter to let you know that it's now been assigned as well, right? So for a level 1 home care package, we're typically seeing that from the time you get that letter saying you've been approved to the time you get another letter saying you're assigned and ready to go, it's typically 5 to 6 months, okay? 5 to 6 months. If it's a level 2, it's typically 6 to 8 months that we're seeing them come through and being ready to be assigned. If it's a level 3 or a level 4 home care package, the waiting lists for those, we're typically seeing them at about 12 months and maybe even a little bit longer. But here's the thing. The government recognises that there's a lot of people out there, particularly those on requiring level 3 support services and level 4 support services, they urgently need support, right? So what we're seeing a lot of, particularly over the last 12 months, is those who are approved for a level 3 and a level 4 home care package, they're also getting approved for what they call an interim home care package, which might be a level 1 or a level 2. And that's essentially to tie them over until their level 3 or their level 4 comes through, right? So you might say, if you're approved for, say, a level 3, your letter says you've been approved for a level 3 home care package, but in the meantime, you've also been approved for an interim level 1 home care package. So therefore, what you can expect is, okay, look, I'm going to go on the waiting list for both these packages, but in about 5 or 6 months, my level 1 will be assigned, and that'll be ready to start, using that. And I'll get those entry-level services until my level 3 or my level 4 comes through, the package the higher level that I'm approved for, and then I can switch over and start using that, okay? Another common question we get is, if I take the level 1 interim package, does that disadvantage me, or am I on the waiting list for longer for the level 3 and 4? We've seen no evidence of that, okay? There's a thing called the National Priority Waiting List. You enter that priority waiting list, and it's a first in, first serve, so in, out sort of system, okay? So we've seen no evidence of those who take on the interim package are disadvantaged or end up waiting longer for their ideal level of support to come through. Okay, so the recommendation here is if you get approved for an interim package, take it. Okay, so you've got the letter, the first letter that says that you're approved for either the CHSP or the home care package. Let's go back to the CHSP for a second. Now, if you got approved for CHSP, I mentioned to you it'll state what types of support services you've been approved for, and it'll give you the codes of those support services. What your job is to do now is to head back over to the My Aged Care website. Okay, and I'll put the link on this page that you're viewing this video. And what you need to do is you need to search the My Aged Care website for organisations in your local area that provide CHSP services for that type of service you're after. Okay, so say it's transportation. You've been approved for local transportation under the Commonwealth Home Support Program scheme, so CHSP scheme. You're going to go to the My Aged Care website. You're going to search on the My Aged Care website. I might even put a link to a little video of me demonstrating how to do this. I'll put that on the page as well. You're going to say, all right, this is my postcode. I'm looking for transportation, and hit search. And all the organisations under the Commonwealth Home Support Program, and then hit search. And then all the organisations that deliver that transportation in your area under the Commonwealth Home Support Program scheme, they will be listed. Okay, and then you've got some homework to do. Then what you need to do is you need to call them up one at a time, and you need to let them know that you've been given this code by My Aged Care, and do they have capacity to deliver the service for you. Okay, you've got to ask them. Just because you've been given a code, just because they provide that service, doesn't mean you're automatically going to get in. What often happens, and we typically see this for those people who get codes for domestic assistance, the organisation you call up will say, I'm sorry, but that Commonwealth Home Support Program funding that we're approved for, we've run out of money. And we've used all our funding in the local area, and we can't serve you at the moment. If you hear that, if that's the case, you've got two things that you need to do. Number one, ask that organisation, say to them, can you put my name down, and if a place becomes available, call me back. Okay? So you give them your details. The second thing that you want to do is you want to go back to your list that you got from My Aged Care with all the providers, and you want to call the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, until finally you get to an organisation that says, yes, we do have some availability, we can take on your service. Okay? It's not ideal, this process, guys. It really isn't. But this is the reality of it, and I'm just stepping you through how to navigate the complexities of it. Okay? You really do need to roll your sleeves up and sort of dig in and get the work done. It's labour, it's work. You've got to do it. All right? What I'm describing here is for the Commonwealth Home Support Program. Okay? It's only for the Commonwealth Home Support Program. What I'm talking about is not the situation for the home care package scheme. Okay? So hopefully I've made it clear about the Commonwealth Home Support Program. You go to My Aged Care website, you find the list of all the organisations in your local area that deliver Commonwealth Home Support Program services, and you're calling them up one at a time saying, can you fit me in? Can you fit me in? Can you fit me in? If not, take my details, call me when a spot becomes available. All right? This could be related to domestic assistance, transportation, gardening services, respite services. Depends on whatever showed up in your My Aged Care letter. Okay? Let's flick over to home care packages again now. Right. So if your letter said home care packages, you've been approved for a home care package. Well, typically those who have been approved for a home care package, again, as I mentioned earlier, you're going to go on the waiting list for that. All right? In conjunction with that waiting list, that letter that you get from My Aged Care is also probably going to also have some codes in there. Even if you've got approved for a home care package, it would probably also have some Commonwealth Home Support Program codes. And this is the government's way of saying, look, we're not going to leave you high and dry on this waiting list, not getting any support services. Here's some of those basic codes under the CHSP scheme for you to ring up some local providers to see if they can fit you in to get you some entry-level services while you wait for your home care package to come through, right? If that's the case, it's the same process as going to my aged care website, finding the providers and ringing around. Okay. While that's all happening, you're on this waiting list for the home care package, okay? Now, say it's a level 1 package. So I mentioned to you, a level 1s are typically taking about 5 to 6 months on the waiting list before they're assigned to you, okay? Typically what's going to happen is about 90 days out from your package being ready to be assigned to you, you're going to get another letter from My Aged Care, okay? About 90 days out. And the letter's going to say something along the lines of, you've been on the waiting list for some period of time now for your level 1, you're about 90 days out from being at the top of the list for your package to be assigned. Now's a good time to start understanding or doing your homework about what home care package organisations, aged care organisations are in your area that can deliver services for you, okay? So the government's essentially giving you the heads up to say, hey, you're about to get some money from the government, start your homework now, start getting quotes, essentially, from different home care providers in your area to see what services they can deliver for you, what are their rates, how much they're going to charge you for delivering these services, their administration fees, all those things. And you want to get at least 2 to 3 quotes so you can really compare apples for apples, okay? So that's about 90 days. You're going to get that letter 90 days out from your package being assigned. You're going to get that letter, and that's when you want to, again, potentially go back to the My Aged Care website. I'm going to create a little demo video for you as well. Put a link on this page. You're going to search for providers in your area that do the home care package scheme, okay? There's going to be a different pool of home care providers that can service the home care package scheme, all right? I'm sorry, guys, if this is a little bit confusing, but again, this is the reality of the system that we're in, and hopefully this is providing you with at least some clarity as to the types of questions to ask and at least the awareness around how this system is set up, all right? And remember, if it is confusing, you've got people who can help you. You've got our organisation. We'd be happy to step you through this. You've got My Aged Care to call up to see if you can just ask them more questions or if they can point you in the right direction. There's some other organisations that are out there. Again, I'll put links. One that comes to mind is the Older Persons Advocacy Network. That's a government-funded organisation, OPAN. I'll put the link in this page. Okay, so you've received the 90-day letter for your home care package. The next letter and final letter you will receive from My Aged Care is the actual letter that tells you, congratulations, your package has now been assigned or ready to be assigned, and you have 56 days to choose a registered home care provider to assign your home care package funding to, so that they can then start dipping into that fund to start delivering those services to you. So if it was domestic assistance that you needed, or gardening, or transportation, or if you needed to buy some products or services that are in line with you staying independent and well in the home and a part of your care plan, well, that funding is now available for that home care provider to start, under your direction, to start spending on those services to get you the support that you need, okay? We covered a lot of information in there. I did bounce around a little bit. Apologies if it was confusing, but it isn't a straightforward process. And it's always best if you can have somebody stepping you through it, going through it with you, whether it's a family member, a friend, a local healthcare professional. If you can figure it out yourself, that's great. And like I said, I hope these videos do make it a little bit clearer, or at least provide some awareness to ask the right questions. If I can just summarize in the next 10 or 20 seconds the takeaway points from this video. You've done your assessment, wait on the letter from My Aged Care to let you know what you're approved for. The letter will state whether it's just only the CHSP services or if it's the home care package system. If it's the home care package system, then you're going to go on a waiting list for that home care package funding to come through. But while you're on that waiting list, you probably also have access to some of those entry-level CHSP services. When it comes to accessing those CHSP services, the onus is on you to go to the My Aged Care website, get yourself the list of all the organisations in your area that deliver CHSP services and call them up and see if they can fit you in. And if they can't, you ring the next one and the next one. Okay? If it's a home care package system that you've been approved for, there's waiting lists, different length waiting lists for each of the levels. Okay? While you're serving your time on the waiting list, typically 90 days out from the waiting list, you're going to get a letter advising you that you're about 90 days out. And then a few weeks will go by, and then you'll get a letter from My Aged Care stating that your package is now available and you have 56 days to choose a provider and assign your package. Okay? When you're in that 90-day window, that is the time to ring up at least 2 or 3 different providers in your local area to get an understanding of the types of support they can offer you, their fees that they will charge in administration to manage your home care package. If anybody doesn't know what I mean by managing your home care package, write to me, call us up. I can explain that in greater depth. But you need to do your homework. It's like buying a service. It's like, buying any service. You want to understand what fees you're being charged. You may feel that you're not getting charged any fees because it's the government funding, right? But the reality is that government funding, you want to stretch it as far as you can, right? So if you can find an organisation that is going to charge, most organisations will charge administration fees. What you want to do is you want to partner with an organisation that's going to give you good value. Cheapest doesn't always mean best value. You want to find an organisation that's the right balance for whatever administration fee they're going to charge. Have a look at what support, what service are you going to get for that administration fee that they're going to charge you. But you could find that the ones that are charging a little bit more in administration are actually delivering you a lot more value to keep you safe and independent and well in your home and your community. I'm going to leave it at that. Our email address, info@villagelocal.com.au. Our phone number, 1300 87 43 42. If you have any questions, shout out. Happy to help. All the best. Speak soon. Take care.